tell you why I'm doing this. Your meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Preparing the live stream, setting it up. This is going to be so cool. If this works, this is going to be so cool if this works. It's working. It's working. I can't even believe it's working. I'm live streaming right now. So that means I got to keep an eye on the chat there as well, because you never know. People might ask me questions there. So I'll keep an eye on that chat as well. Ask me, let me put into the chat, ask me anything. Watch people come in and ask me like dumb things. For those of you who just joined, let me turn the music down in here. I've got this tune that I've just been totally into today, and I've just had it on repeat all day. Okay. All right. So for those of you who just joined, what I'm doing is I'm broadcasting this live onto YouTube. And there are actually, hey, welcome aboard. If you're here on YouTube, thanks for being here. There are people that are watching this live on YouTube now. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. You guys on YouTube who are watching this, what you're seeing is my Friday open Q&A. This is something that I hold for members of any program of mine. And they're able to come on to this, and they're able to ask questions, get guidance, get clarity. We generally talk about just about anything. And it's every Friday at noon that we do this. And there's a ton of people here right now, and I'm so grateful that they're here. For you guys that are here on the Zoom, this is being broadcast live to YouTube. So if I happen to want to answer one of your questions, I'm not going to say your name. I may just say your initials, so that we can maintain a level of privacy. And actually more people are jumping onto the YouTube stream. That's incredible. Let me tell you my big plan for why I'm doing this, my big strategy. I like to go live on YouTube. I think it's a great way of building content onto my YouTube channel. I like going live anywhere. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. But just you keep thinking, you'll come up with one. I know you will. I have some others that are queued up as well. I like going live to YouTube because, first of all, it creates content. It creates valuable content for my audience. So I want to provide as much value to the subscribers that I have on YouTube as possible. So I do like going live as often as I can, but a lot of times it's hard to find the time to go live. And because, you got to set it up, you got to get the camera set up. And then I was like, you know what, wait a minute. Why don't we just put all of that aside? Let's just put all of the, I got to get the big camera out. I got to get the lights out. I got to make sure everything's working the way I want it to work. I got to test everything. Then I got to schedule the live. I got to name the live. I got to send out invitations to it. That's still a lot of work. Now, albeit it's not very hard work, but it does take time. And this entire week, I've thought to myself, I want to go live all week, and never did it. Just didn't get the time. And so what I decided to do was, let's take the Q&A and let's just broadcast the Q&A live to YouTube, answer some questions. Maybe we'll get some questions in the chat on YouTube itself, and I can answer those. And so what we're doing is we are just providing more goodwill, more results, more value to people, to you who are here on the Zoom. Thanks for being here, everybody. We've got about 22 people here now. I'm grateful for you. And then for the people that happen to tune in. And then this will now sit on YouTube in my live, my section of my YouTube channel that's live. I will download it. If I happen to say anything smart, I will, in the off chance that I happen to say anything smart, I can then clip that out and make its own video from it. I can create a bunch of shorts from it, from this. And so something that I would do anyway, I can now get multiple benefits from. And you people that were in the inner circle call yesterday, you know what I'm talking about, because this was part of the beast mode plan that we talked about yesterday. So if you were in the inner circle yesterday, or today, I'll have that recording from yesterday up today. If you were in the inner circle call yesterday, we talked about beast mode, and I outlined a step-by-step plan for the next 12 weeks for you. And we'll continue to talk about that in future sessions. So this is, as you saw yesterday, this is a core component of that. So any questions that you have, you can pop them in the Zoom chat. If you're here watching me on Zoom, if you're here on YouTube, thank you for being here. Welcome aboard. And you can pop in your questions there as well. I will answer anything about anything. Somebody says, what are you drinking in that cup? It is Illy coffee. It is just a gigantic, this thing was full. A gigantic thing of brewed Illy coffee. So somebody says, are there any particular types of content that work best for driving customer engagement on social media? So let's talk about that. Let me hop back over to my Zoom. I do want to keep a close eye on the chat on YouTube because I can see our chat here, but I want to make sure that I can see the YouTube chat as well. So if you're here on YouTube, you just pop questions into the live chat, and I'm right there with you. So the question is, are there any types of content that work best for driving customer engagement on social media? So let's talk about that. I'll share my screen. You guys on YouTube follow along. You should be able to see this as well. All right, so the question is, I'm going to copy and paste that question here for you. Boom, boom, there we go. All right, and now let's just move that. You know, the Zoom whiteboard frustrates me sometimes, but not all the time. All right, so let's talk about that. So let's first define engagement. Really means. So first, engagement means a lot of things. It means, oh, I see the Q&A. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Oh, wow. That's almost like a related question to that. Good. Awesome. I'll get to that. So engagement can mean a lot of things. It can mean a like or a thumbs up. It can mean a comment or a share. It can also mean a save, like somebody saves your content. One metric that people don't really talk about all that much is time on post. So time on post, and I won't type all of this stuff out because you're literally just sitting here as I'm dictating to you. A whole ton of new people just joined. We are broadcasting this live on YouTube as an experiment today for me to be able to go live on YouTube and show the awesome people who are subscribers to my channel the kind of things that we do here inside of the program. So for the people that are watching on YouTube right now, thank you for being here. And you are watching a weekly Q&A. So let's go. So this is a metric that I love that a lot of people don't talk about, which is called time on post. Time on post simply means the amount of time that someone on social media spent looking at your content. So it means reading your content, looking at your picture, watching your video, and listen closely, even if they don't interact. So this is a user behavior that has no real indicator to you as the content creator, has no real indicator to you that the user interacted with your content because they didn't like it, they didn't share it, they didn't save it, or they didn't comment on it. Instead, the only thing that they did was consume your content. But time on content time on post is a very important metric. Here's why. Let's just go back here. So time on post is important because the platforms, that's the social sites, monetize people being on the platform. How do they monetize people being on the platform? Well, you know this. They monetize through advertising. When you're scrolling through social media, and it doesn't matter what you're scrolling through, when you're scrolling through social media, you're being advertised to. And many times the social platforms are charging the advertisers based on impressions. An impression is when someone sees the ad. Very granularly on a lot of the platforms, if you're scrolling and then you slow down the scroll and then you just, oh, here comes the ad, and 25% of the ad shows up on your mobile device or on your computer, the advertiser gets charged for that. That's an impression. Okay, so some of the platforms will charge even if the full content is not shown for the ad, just a little bit of it. So the longer you spend on a platform, the more valuable you are to the platform. Okay, let me say it again. The longer you spend on a social platform, the more valuable you are. It's in the platform, the social site's best interest to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. Because the longer you're on, the more ads you're going to see. The more ads you see, the more they can charge their advertisers, the more money that they make. So you're contributing to the profitability of the platform. Now, some people complain, oh, I see ads all the time. Well, how do you think these things stay in business? Facebook isn't out there as a benevolent activity to give you access to see the dog that chewed a hole in the wall. That's not why Facebook exists. It's a business. And they're in business to make money. It would be like going into a furniture store. You go to IKEA, you buy a couch, and then you complain that you had to pay for it. It's the same. These platforms exist to make money. You get something out of the platform. You get to see what your ex is up to, and how great their life is now. And because you're stalking them through the socials, you're certainly, that's what we all do. No, I don't. And the platforms make money by you scrolling around. Now, this is important because let's go to the other end of that, and that's you as the content creator. If you as the content creator are creating the content that brings people to the platform and keeps them on the platform, okay, so did it attract them to the platform? That's the first metric. Did someone log on to LinkedIn to see your content? You attracted them to the platform. Now, you as a content creator are very valuable to the platform. And then once you got them on the platform, how long did they stay? These are not new analytics. Google has been doing this before social media existed. Did your content on your website attract someone to your website? Then how long did they stay on your website? If it did, and they stayed, that means you provided them with valuable content. That's how Google figures out where to put you in the search rankings. The social platforms take a cue from that. Did you bring someone to the platform? And if you did, how long did they stay? If you brought them to the platform, you're valuable. If you got them to stay a long time, you're extra valuable. What do you think the platform is going to do for your content if you're bringing people there and you're keeping people there? They're going to open it up. They're going to make your content more available. They're going to promote you. This is why my YouTube channel grows so quickly, is because a majority of my subscribers come from the things that YouTube does to promote my content. Somebody says, can you define bringing them to the platform? I'll do it with an example. Imagine you post an article on LinkedIn, and then you send an email to your list with a link to that article. And people on your list, let's say you've got 1,000 people on your list. You read a really great article on LinkedIn. You get the link to that article. You then create an email campaign to the 1,000 people on your list. 246 of them open your email, and 24 of them click on the link. You've just brought 24 people to LinkedIn. Think that's insignificant? It's not. LinkedIn now sees 24 people came from an external source to the LinkedIn platform. They know it came from email because they see that the origination of the source is Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail. So they know where it came from. So now LinkedIn's doing this. They're like, that person published something and then brought a bunch of people here from their email platform. Well, it was very nice of him to do that. So let's share the love. Now, if those people came from email, they consumed the article, then they scrolled around a bunch. How much is a bunch? If they scrolled around for 7 minutes and 40 seconds on LinkedIn, well, now you kept them there longer than average, because the average time on LinkedIn is about 7 minutes, 32 seconds. I don't remember the exact number. The average time someone spends on LinkedIn is about 7 minutes, 32 seconds. You can get people to spend 7 minutes, 40 seconds. You're very valuable to them. Other than email, how about sending them from other social sites? Yeah, can you imagine that? Imagine that. That's good thinking. Imagine you create an article on LinkedIn and then you share the link on Facebook. Well, Facebook isn't going to do a lot to promote you because you're taking people off the platform. But LinkedIn sees traffic coming from another social platform, they're going to reward you because you're helping them win. You're helping them make money and you're helping them win. So that's the first part of this, is define what engagement really is. Let me just check in on the YouTube. Hey, everybody, there's a bunch of people on YouTube. Thanks for being here. First time I'm doing this. You guys on YouTube, if you showed up a little bit late, there are, and a couple more people just joined. Thank you so much for being here, the YouTube crowd right now. What you're watching is a live broadcast of an open Q&A that I host every Friday for people in my programs. I decided to toss it into the YouTube realm as well so that I could get some live content out there. And you've got the chat. If you want to ask a question about anything, you feel free to do that. You can see the question I'm asking right now. Is there kind of content that drives customer engagement on social media? So now let's get to that, because we just defined what engagement is and why engagement is important. And I ask you guys on Zoom and I ask you guys on YouTube, is that starting to open up some ideas for you about when you're creating content and the kind of content that you're creating, and how you should be thinking about creating content? Guys, this is no longer about, hey, take a look at my water that I just, I squeezed a supplement into. This isn't about that. This isn't about sitting in your car doing this. I love my protein powder. This is about, hey, I'm going to write an article for you right now that has 3 recipes for a protein shake. One of them doesn't require any protein powder. And now you get people reading your content. And now you get people having increased time on post. Why do you think the shorts, the reels, the stories where they whiz through a recipe so fast you have to watch it 15 times just to figure out that there's tuna fish in that salad? You got to watch this thing over and over and over again, and you're holding it and you're doing all of that. They're baiting, and they're not baiting you. They're making it so that you interact more with their content, right? That's why these things whiz by so quick. I've seen some people, this is a complete aside, I've seen some people produce the shorts, the reels and all of that, where they have a recipe and they just go blip for like that, so that you have to try to hit it with your thumb at the right time to get the recipe. That, that's baiting you, I think. That's like, I don't really like that all that much. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Hey, Hamza, what's going on? How to sell on LinkedIn? All right, I'll get to that question. Let me finish this question and then I'll get to yours. You see the beauty of this? You guys on Zoom, you guys who are in the programs, you start to look at what's happening here. We've got some beautiful people checking us out on YouTube right now. Questions are coming in. I hope you're getting ideas. I hope you're getting ideas. I really do. Okay, so now let's get to the question. What kind of content drives customer engagement? Well, my favorite type, long form content. Long form content. Why? Why? Because you're sitting there and you're like, oh my, no one reads long content. Well, you know who reads long content? People who are interested in you and what you do. People who want answers. read long form content. People who are actively seeking the solution that you provide read long form content. You know who gets to the end of your long form content? Your best prospects get to the end of your long form content because they engaged in it. You write 1,000 words and somebody reads all of those words. Hey, even if they skim it and they get to the end where you make a small offer at the end of your content, so get on my calendar to brainstorm with me, or DM me with any questions that you might have, that's an elevated prospect. You write long form content, you put an offer at the very end and people take you up on that offer, they're more likely to become a client. So that's why I like long form content, because it helps filter out the best prospects for me. I also like long form content because if people decide to read it and it provides a ton of value, they're going to read it. So then what do we get there? Well, we get a high time on post. If I provide them with enough value, they're going to save it to read later. If I provide them with enough value, they're going to share it to somebody else that needs it. And now I'm getting like the compound of engagement. So number one type of content, long form content. You're asking me right now, I hear you, I can hear your thoughts. How often should I post long form content? The answer is yes. Yes. How often? Yes. Just as often as you can. Once a day if you've got the time. The next question in your brain is, should I use AI to write my long form content? No. You should write it from your brain. You should write it from your brain, because the platforms are now starting to, hey, look, the signs are out there. You can continue to be romanced by the shiny object of AI as something that drives your business, right? You can be romanced by that. But there was just a meeting of all the big brains, and they all raised their hands and said, we need to regulate AI. That's coming. Google wrote its own AI so that it can detect other AIs. Google came out and said, we're going to suppress Google business page reviews that we detect were written by AI. So what Google's doing is it's taking the easiest thing in the world to test this out on, reviews on Google business pages. It's not saying we're going to suppress search results. That's the hardest thing to do. It's taking the easiest thing in the world, the thing that no one's going to kind of notice that they're doing this, and they're going to test it. And they're going to look and they're going to test for AI generated content, and they're going to suppress it. They already said they would. And if you go back a year, anybody that's been here over a year, you'll remember me saying this. Google came out one day and they said, we're working hard to make sure you see content written for people by people. 4 words there that everybody else glosses over that I'm going to zoom in on and I'm going to bring to you, that says written for people by people. Okay, so long form content. 2, videos. Videos rule. Short, long, all kinds of videos is going to get engagement. And we've seen that over and over and over again. 3, how-to content. Who knows the numbers? Test for understanding in the chat. Who knows the numbers? Searches for how to increase X% year over year since what year? Yeah, that's it. That's it. JP, you're a little overzealous there, JP. 70%. We see a 70% year over year increase since what year? 2015. How do we know this? Google told us. So how-to content. Videos, of course, as I mentioned before that. Next, inspirational content. The platforms do not want you showing up being the party pooper. The platforms don't want you showing up being a Debbie Downer. Pardon me if your name is Debbie. Pardon me if your name is Debbie Downer. The platforms don't want you showing up being a Debbie Downer. You show up complaining on the platforms all the time, talking about how complaining. You all know I stopped swearing, right? Thank you. You show up complaining and people start reading the complaining. Nobody wants that. They're out. I told you, time on post, bring someone to the platform, keep them on the platform. Imagine what happens if somebody's reading your post and they exit the platform. Imagine. Now what? Now what? You're that person at the party that's standing by the door, and your really good friends are showing up, and that person at the party is all complaining everything. Your friends turn around and leave. That's what's happening. You don't want that. Okay, so inspirational content will lock people in. And then fifth, inner circle and galvanized. You guys know this, bonding content. Okay, and that's in both of your programs. Bonding content that creates that connection. When you say inspiration, is there a type of inspiration that's best? So yeah, so for inspirational content, here's what I like. Short, punchy, and contextually relevant. It doesn't make sense for me to create inspirational content about making great espresso because it's not contextually relevant. Okay, I could make inspirational content that's short and punchy and say, the weekend's here, let's descale our espresso machine so we get the best tasting brew this coming week. That would inspire espresso making people, but it's not contextually relevant to what I do. So instead, hey, the weekend's here, you've got 2 days to go heads down and focus on your business. Let's get together and do this. That's inspirational content. So short, punchy. I love social cards for this. I think social cards are probably the best way to do this. And if you want an example of that, go to my Instagram. Okay, bonding content, that's in the programs. You know about that. So that's what we're looking to do here. Now, I'm just going to give you one more little bit of advice on this. Pay attention. If you stop paying attention, now is the time to really pay. Hey, everybody on YouTube, I just hopped over. There's even more people there. Thank you. Thank you for being here, guys. Hope you're getting some value from this. I'm going to get to Hamza's question next. And if you have a question, you're here on YouTube, you go ahead and ask away. So I want to unlock something for you. Just really, really briefly, LinkedIn has changed. And the biggest change that I'm going to tell you about right now is viral content on LinkedIn will be suppressed. And your account will also be suppressed. So what has happened to LinkedIn? Okay, what has happened to LinkedIn? LinkedIn went through an interesting time during the pandemic because people were flocking to LinkedIn. Business people now working at home, new accounts on LinkedIn were getting created more and more and more and more. And then what happened? You get a lot of people who joined LinkedIn who had never been on social media before. So you've got these 40, I'm not being ageist here because I'm in this age range, 40, 50, 60-year-olds who had never been on social media. And now all of a sudden the candy store's open and here they are. And they don't know how to behave on social media. And so people that don't know how to behave on social media kind of behave like they behave on Facebook and on Instagram to an extent. On those two channels, people are just kind of like, here, look at my boobs. Here, pardon me, I redact that. It's like, pretend like I didn't say it. Here, look at my dog. In here, look at my cookware. And here, look at, oh, look, I'm eating ice cream. Here, I'm making a video in my car. Here, I'm showing off my great lifestyle. Here, I'm renting a Lamborghini and showing you, pretending that I have it to show you that I'm successful. That's what happens on all those platforms. Well, it started happening on LinkedIn. And another thing that happened on LinkedIn, this is for men and women equally. I'll tell you why. They're going to penalize reputable creators. Somebody says, why do they penalize reputable LinkedIn creators? Because they surveyed LinkedIn users and universally people said, this nonsense is taking away from my newsfeed. My newsfeed is filled with irrelevant information. I'm on LinkedIn to get business done, and this is feeling like it's not business anymore. And so LinkedIn's like, oh, shoot. By the way, you want to see the numbers before I continue? You want to see the numbers? Average time on LinkedIn. 7 minutes, 30 seconds, call it. Average time on Facebook. I'm taking a stab here. I think it's 43 minutes. Average time on Instagram, 39 minutes. These are 2023 numbers, guys. I'm not dipping back to 2017. This is now. Average time, I spelled time wrong. Average time on TikTok, anybody want to guess? Average time on TikTok, some of you already know. It's like 95 minutes. So what's happening here? LinkedIn's looking around and LinkedIn's going, what the heck? Everybody's over there. Nobody's here. Because people go on LinkedIn for something different than they go on to the other platforms for. People go on to LinkedIn for business. They don't go on to see the snake falling on the head from the door jam, which was a very popular video that I saw. They don't go on to, and even so much as the fake inspirational stuff that shows up on LinkedIn. Oh, look at the line of wolves, and the first wolf is the old wolf, and all the other wolves are following the old wolf because the old wolf knows where to go to get. That's not, it's a line of wolves walking through the snow. It's nothing more than that. You don't have to make a fake story to make us feel good about ourselves. Make us feel good about ourselves with a real story. So LinkedIn doesn't want viral content. LinkedIn wants people. So what does LinkedIn want? Oh, dog, jump back. LinkedIn noticed a lot of people were posting things on the platform that were highly sexualized, that were very relationship-based, like trying to, like it was turning into there was this weird dating, like LinkedIn had this whole subsection of like this weird corporate dating thing going on. And so LinkedIn, they're all sitting around and they're like, what has happened here? What's happened to our platform? So they made sweeping changes. Viral content is suppressed. Knowledge is promoted. That's it. And if you need to know anything on LinkedIn, viral content is suppressed. Knowledge is promoted. So be ready. Be ready. The biggest tip I can give you is stop using an abundance of hashtags on LinkedIn. Galvanized on Tuesday, we're going to be, you know what I did? I'll tell you what I did in a second. Let me finish that thought. Stop using an abundance of hashtags on LinkedIn. 3 max in your content on LinkedIn. Okay, 3 hashtags max. So it's time to go into the closet. It's time to put on the professional shirt that has the alphabet on it. And it's time to create knowledge-based content for LinkedIn. And it's time to watch what happens. I found, you know what? We'll get really, I found an interview with someone. I don't even want to say who. This is for Galvanized coming up next week on Tuesday. I found an interview with someone who said more than they should have said about the LinkedIn platform changes. And I ran it through voice to text so that I could read it. And then I cut out all the nonsense. And I then zoomed in on the things they were saying. Because just like when Google said for people by people, that's all I need to be able to interpret that and turn that and zoom in on that, right? Do the Mandelbrot thing and zoom right in on that. I have pages from an interview, and I'm going to synthesize that and bring that to Galvanized on Tuesday. It's going to open up your world. Okay, so that was a 36-minute answer to this question. Pretty good? Take a screenshot and done. Hamza says, how to sell on LinkedIn, meaning if we connect with someone, how cold or hot the interaction should be tried to keep with the target person. Let me know if I'm off topic here. No, you're completely on topic here. You are completely on topic. So if you're connecting with someone on LinkedIn, so this is going to be the dad at the dinner table conversation. I'm going to lean back and talk to you like this, like we're having that conversation, the dad at the dinner table conversation. When you connect with someone on LinkedIn, the last thing that they want is a sales pitch in your interactions with them. Literally, and these are numbers based on science, 0.0% of people want to be pitched to on the first interaction when they're cold. No one wants that. They will regret accepting your connection request. They will unfollow, they will follow you, they will mute you, they will disconnect from you, they will walk away from you feeling like, why did I accept that request? They will complain to other people that you do this. So people don't want to be pitched to immediately. Instead, if you're looking to sell on LinkedIn, my recommendation is that you create consistent content that is of high value to your target audience, that educates them on what you do and the transformation that you offer in a way that they walk away from your content with a micro transformation. So what I consistently will recommend to you is creating highly educational content that provides a simple tip that they can employ right away. Now, I'm reading your minds, and you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, if I give them a tip on how to do it, they're never going to hire me. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. In fact, many of you who are here on the Zoom, who are in the programs, came here because you consumed content on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel has close to 700 videos. Yet you're still here. Because the simple tips are enough to give someone a small transformation so they feel good about you and your service and what you do, but everyone knows they need more. And successful people realize that you go farther, faster when you have someone who's done it before to guide you. I would not go climb Kilimanjaro without someone that's done it before. And maybe a little bit of training and maybe some nutrition. But I wouldn't know how to train, or I wouldn't know what to eat without someone who's done it before. Right? That probably makes sense. So when you connect with someone on LinkedIn, what I want you to do is first make sure that you're daily contributing educational information that provides them with a micro transformation and gives them a very clear next step. What's that next step? Get on my calendar. Next step is always get on my calendar. Get these people on your calendars so that you can talk to them. You can find out what they want, what they need. You can find out who they are. You'll get to know your audience so well by the more people you talk to. 12-minute meetings is all you need. 12-minute introductory call. So produce consistent educational content that provides a micro transformation through a quick tip, has a simple offer that's very easy for them to follow. Then, when you connect with someone, engage in a personal, meaningful conversation with them through LinkedIn Messenger. And all you have to do is go to their profile, find something in their profile that interests you, send them a message saying, "Thanks for connecting with me. I saw this in your profile and I thought it was interesting. I have a question about that." And don't talk business at all. Because you are communicating with them through Messenger, LinkedIn's going to give them more visibility into your content because they see you having a relationship with them. One of the things we know from the changes that LinkedIn's making right now is that in the surveys of LinkedIn users, the LinkedIn users said, we prefer to see knowledge-based content from our connections. That's a big one. Ooh, that's a big one, guys. We prefer to see, this is what LinkedIn users said. We don't want our time wasted, and we want to see knowledge-based content. Oh, remind me about the time wasted if I forget. I have an indicator for you if LinkedIn's gonna suppress you. Remind me about that if I forget. We want to see knowledge-based content from our connections. So when you make a connection with someone, if you start a personal dialogue with them, LinkedIn's going to see them as connected with you, not connected, LinkedIn connected like a human, because you're a human and so are they. So they're going to see more of your content. Okay. Now, I do have a tip for you on how to know if your content's going to be suppressed. One of the indicators that LinkedIn is using to decide if content is valuable is the ratio of likes to comments. So if you get a ton of likes, but no comments, then LinkedIn is seeing that content is not as valuable. If you get a ton of likes and a ton of comments, but the comments are single or two-word comments, LinkedIn is going to penalize you. Not penalize you, it's going to suppress you. LinkedIn is looking for comments that have questions, that reference something from the content itself, and that you're interacting with in conversation. That's what LinkedIn's looking for. So if you put something out there and you get like 50, 60 likes, but no comments, LinkedIn's going to pick up on that. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to be suppressed. That's a big tip for you right there. That's a big one. All right. So thumbs up. What I want you to do when you connect with people, just write to them and say, hey, I see that you're from the North Pole, and I'm just curious, have you ever run into Santa at Starbucks on the North Pole? I hear he goes there a lot. You know, just start, and that's kind of joking, because I don't think anybody lives at the North Pole, except Santa. But you just have a meaningful, just a quick dialogue with them. Imagine that if you went to a networking meeting and there's somebody over at the coffee station and you're getting coffee and they're getting coffee, and you notice that they have a watch on that you think is pretty cool, and you ask them, hey, where did you tell me about your watch? Every watch has a story. Tell me about your watch. So, unless, if it's an Apple Watch, there's no real story there. That's the kind of conversation you would have. You wouldn't walk over to the coffee station and say, hey, I'm great at editing videos. Do you want me to edit every video that you've ever made? Because they would go, I gotta go. And they would go off somewhere else. You gotta think like a human and act like a human in these cases. So then create valuable content on the platform. Your connections are gonna see it. Yeah, okay, good. All right, I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you're here. I wish you were here in the Zoom, because this is where the real magic happens, but I'm glad you're there. That was my subtle way of selling you into one of my programs. I don't know if you picked up on that. Well, somebody says, what 3 hashtags do you use? I would get specific knowledge-based hashtags. Stop with the broad hashtags, because that's what viral does. Go specific, targeted, broad. Specific, targeted, audience-based hashtags. That's what LinkedIn is looking for. They're looking to put knowledge in front of people who want to consume the knowledge. So I used to like hashtag the word money. Too broad. Too broad. What do you think about being part of LinkedIn pods that make comments on other posts? You might as well at that point just close your LinkedIn account. Because what I read in this interview that I'm bringing to Galvanize next week is LinkedIn knows about these things. And so LinkedIn is looking for the indicators that these things are happening. So what are the indicators? Well, the same people are always liking your stuff. And these people are liking other people's stuff who are also the people that are liking your stuff. And it's happening every single time. And they're always following a formula. And it's not the meaningful. Because look, when you do these engagement pods, you don't got time to write meaningful comments on everything. So people are going in and saying, great post, Joe Davola. That's what they're doing. And so LinkedIn, look, it's not hard to figure out when somebody's in it. If you can figure it out as a human just looking at it, I can. The platforms can figure it out in a millisecond. You might as well not post on LinkedIn anymore if you're going to do that, because LinkedIn doesn't want that. They don't want the artificial engagement. They want real humans engaging with other real humans in a knowledge-based environment. So if you're, sorry, Sorry, if you're in an engagement pod right now, either quit the engagement pod or quit LinkedIn. And I know that might be hard to hear, but it's true. And I have been telling you that for a long time. A long time we've been talking about this. Now, well, some of you haven't been here for a long time, so you're fine. Somebody says, I'd like to be a part of Galvanize. How do I get started? Yes, indeed. You are perfect for it. Send Eileen Ryan a message and she'll tell you how scary it is in there. And then if you still want to be a part of it, send me a direct message. Look, I'm going to tell you this. Galvanize is no joke. It's no joke. And if a week goes by and people don't cry in Galvanize, then I haven't done my job. It's no joke. It's no joke. I am putting pressure on you to get to 7 figures in Galvanize. And if you're not, then you've got me to contend with. So send Eileen a message and say, what's it really like in there? Is it as bad as he says? Yes. Somebody says you will cry. You will cry in there. You will. Weekly, you will. It's not easy. It's not easy. It will make you a different person. It will make you a different person. So I'm crying. Somebody says I'm crying not being in. Send Eileen a message. She's like the she's the one standing at the door welcoming everybody. And she'll tell you how it is. It's no joke. I want you in there though, because I will not only will I make you cry, I will make you wildly successful. You think what we do here is impactful? Okay. Do you recommend any particular AI detector scanner to scan your content before posting? I wouldn't even take the time to do that. You could use Hemingway is a great app for that. When I'm creating high value long form content, I will use Hemingway. Somebody says Quillbot is another one. I liked Hemingway a lot, so that would be one to check out. I only do that when I'm creating extremely high valuable content, like stuff that I'm creating for like lead magnets and stuff like that, or stuff that I'm going to sell. Let's see. Eileen put her link in the chat. If you just send her a quick message, and she's going to tell you how terrible it is in there, and then send me a message because I know you want that. Somebody says you could use ChatGPT to find the best knowledge-based hashtags. Why not? Why not? What I would do instead is I would just start putting hashtags into something that gives you a count for the number of hashtags to use. And then I would just take one that has like hundreds of thousands of searches, one that has tens of thousands of searches, and then use one that's very specific to you. That's what I would do. That's been my recommendation on hashtags for a while. So where can you get that? You could probably get that. Let me see. Let's see if we can go somewhere and get that. There's also, there are like websites that will tell you good hashtags as well for free. That's kind of cool to do. Let me just, I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to go into my Instagram for just a second and start yeah, I can't really do that. Where else, guys? Anybody, who else shows you hashtag count? Facebook? Does Facebook show you hashtag count if you start to do a hashtag in your content? Let's see. Yeah, it does. So let me show you this on Facebook. I'll share this with you. Oh my gosh, where'd that hour go? All right, so I'm not going to actually create a post. I'm just going to do hashtag research. So let's say I'm doing hashtag research on SEO, okay? So SEO, 14 million posts, okay? So that's a lot. Search engine optimization, 1.2 million posts. I don't want to get lost in the sauce. So I would do the full, so search engine optimization, 1.2 million, I would use that hashtag instead. Let's just look at search, 1.8 million. That's kind of cool. I might do that, but I want to get something in the hundreds of thousands. So search results, 13,000. That's kind of cool. First page, 20. So first page ranking, not a lot there, but that would be a good personal one to use. First page, 28,000 posts. You'd get some good visibility in front of a smaller group, and that's really what I'm going for here. Top of search, fewer than 1,000. That could be a good personal one to use. Search box, less than 1,000. Search box optimization, that could be another personal one for you. Google My Business, 350,000 posts. So based on 30 seconds of research, all I would do is hashtag search engine optimization, hashtag Google My Business, hashtag search, hashtag or hashtag top of search results, whatever that other one was. So millions, hundreds of thousands, and then a personal one. I didn't even need to log into an AI to do that. I let Facebook's AI do that for me. I hope that makes sense to you. Those numbers are going to track pretty well across all the platforms. So it might be millions on Facebook and hundreds of thousands on LinkedIn, but we'll get that ratio of scale from one to the other. So, self-similar at scale. Okay, nearest neighbor theory is gonna apply here. Pretty cool. I like doing that. Anybody else? You throw a topic into the chat, and I'll do the research for you right now. Throw a topic into the chat, and I will do that research for you. Thanks, boy. You guys hanging out here on YouTube. Thank you for hanging out for the hour. We're gonna wrap up in about 7 minutes. So just hang out for another 7 minutes. I'm just looking for just throw a topic. Oh, holy smoke. Public speaking. You ready? That means your brain, somebody says my brain written article through an AI detector got a 64% material fake response. That means your brain you have like this. You have AI built into your brain. People want to be you. You're fine. Public speaking. I'm clearly robotic. Public speaking, 1.3 million posts. I would use that one. And then look at this, public speaker, 313. And then public speaking training right there. It's all right here. There you go. Public speaking, I would pick that one. I would pick public speaking training. And then I would pick public speaking class. I would use class instead of course. Not for the numbers, but for the actual word. I think people are more magnetized to a class than they are to a course. That's my gut telling me that. Okay, so if you're using those, you're doing the right thing. Oh my gosh, what fun. What fun we had today. For those who join late, we broadcast live to my YouTube channel today to let some others join in the fun, including Hamza, who had a really great question for us today. If you're still out there, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. In the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from our time together today? You can just tell me what your biggest takeaway from our time together today was. And while you're doing that, Inner Circle, Galvanized, coffee at 2 o'clock. I finished this over the course of this meeting. I am going to refill this thing and drink even more coffee. The LinkedIn updates, good. Good. The social media applications, good. Somebody says, thanks, great class. It's my pleasure to bring this to you. Somebody says, this was so powerful. Hamza says, is this every Friday? Well, we do this every Friday in my programs. I've got to do some thinking this week if I want to broadcast this live every Friday. Probably will. I have a feeling that people will come into the Inner Circle from this. It's practically laughably inexpensive. It is HAMZA is the spelling for those of you on the in the Zoom. And I'm so grateful that you're here. I'll tell you what. If you come back next Friday at this time, I'll be here for you. How about that? You come back next Friday, I'll be here for you. Eventually, I will persuade you into joining one of the programs, but you just come back. Come back next Friday. I'll do this again next week. Hamza says the points about how to approach anyone and making it a long game by waiting it out with content. It really is a long game. And by long, I mean about 3 weeks. It takes somebody about 3 weeks to warm up to you. And then the whole LinkedIn platform thing. Great. Great. All right. Well, hey, no better time than to start. No better time than to start right now. Just go out there and get it done. And as I often say, it's Friday, which means there are still 2 days left to the work week. So you know your mission. Your mission is to get out there and get it done. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to Hamza says he will be here. He or she, I don't even know. Will be here next week. So I'm going to hold you to that. We'll see you guys here. Thank you so much, everybody, for your dedication to improving yourselves and improving your businesses. You have people that are looking for you right now. Let them find you so that you can serve them and you can give them a transformation. Galvanized, Inner Circle, see you in an hour. Everybody else, see you all next week.